Thank you, Mr Chair. Let me follow on from my colleague, the Honourable Annette King. Ministry of Social Development is meant to be about, and the Minister's work is meant to be about, successful individuals building strong, healthy families and communities. And in these areas, New Zealand is going backwards. We are becoming a more unfair society. We are becoming a worse place to bring up our children. And the sad fact is that the government is out of touch with the reality facing most New Zealanders, particularly low and middle income New Zealanders. And I just want to tell you some stories about people, because this is about people, particularly in this portfolio. These are people who've come either to my panel or Onehunga office, and they are the people who you see as a consequence of the policies that are reported on in this financial report. There was the mother of three who lost her job. She didn't get any redundancy, but she had debt, a medium level of debt, and she was reduced to seeking handouts of food in order to get by. And she made sure her children were fed before she ate anything herself. And once a certain number of food parcels had been accessed, the overwhelmed agencies handling these cannot give out more. Her situation was not about poor life choices, as our Prime Minister would have us believe. And then there was the man on the sickness benefit who was reduced to eating out of rubbish bins because he'd had his household goods and his wallet stolen. His debt, which he had subsequently run up replacing fridges, beds, etc., was with Department of Work and Income and 2 local appliance stores. The debt was too high for him to get any more advances, and the repayments for the money borrowed from the 3 sources took up most of his benefit after rent was paid. He had mental health issues, and his diet is so poor that he's been hospitalised twice because of it. These are real people. And then there was the man who thought, well, actually, he'd be better off in prison, because at least in prison he'd get something to eat. We have mothers coming into my offices who are living in tin sheds. And we've had 3 in 1 month, one with a severely ill baby. Now, these are real people. Housing issues I could go on about, but that perhaps goes past this portfolio, so I won't continue down that track. But what I'm really saying is that this government is out of touch with the reality of these New Zealanders. They don't have a plan to deal with it. In fact, the best plan they seem to have come up with is tax cuts for the wealthy, costing $14 billion over 4 years, building roads, cutting money out of industry training, cutting funding for early childhood education. Well, that isn't a plan. And that mismanagement of our economy is taking us backwards. And it means that plan is also leaving, so-called plan, is leaving many New Zealanders feeling helpless and hopeless. This is contrary to the idea of social development. We need a bold government that governs for the benefit of all New Zealanders and that understands the realities that they are facing. We don't need a Prime Minister who talks about these people making lifestyle choices. And we certainly don't need Kate Wilkinson and Hekia Parata who think that New Zealand women who are underpaid and struggling to make ends meet should be grateful that there is a national government supposedly focused on lifting economic performance, because that isn't what they are feeling out there. So I want to talk about the fact that economic and social progress is inextricably linked, and that, in fact, a plan that really addresses social and economic development will only come from a Labour government focused on creating jobs and opportunities for our children and grandchildren. And it is about the question of unemployment. We have 100,000 more people on benefits. Where's the plan to deal with that? Where's the active government working to try and create a stronger economy that delivers jobs? Where's the support for research and development? Where's the support for skills? Where are the initiatives to lift productivity? And talking about the issue of skills, how is it that we can have something as significant as that would lift our productivity, that would increase employment security, and yet we cut funding out of that area? We cut $55 million out of industry training. Well, that didn't go into social development to pay for more job skills, did it? No. And that is an absolute outrage in the current economic climate. And as my colleague Annette King said, the situation of child poverty in this country, and the Salvation Army report talks about this. 22% of our children are living in workless households where they are below the poverty line. That impacts on the future of this country in terms of health, in terms of education, in terms of our economic performance. let alone the situation that those individuals will face.
Mr Chairman.